Couldn't imagine waking up in the morning, looking over, and seeing that staring me cold, dead into the eyes. Mostly probably because her forehead is so heavily Botox she can't really close her eyes or properly blink, and also she probably takes her face off like the Wicked Witch in Return to Oz, so you wouldn't really have to worry about that. I'd imagine what's underneath of it is probably more adequately displayed towards the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, like somebody who drank out of the wrong chalice. But we've, since the inception of this channel, have gone hard on this bitch. Not as hard as she should be gone on, because Michigan wouldn't be in this situation if somebody would just lay some pipe and she wouldn't be turning it off. See that? Pipeline 5, still operational, despite Democrat Governor Whitmer's shutdown order. Consumers will pay the price. What does that mean? Well, you have to get to the story, because this is amazing. Amazing. Frightening, but amazing. The states in the southeastern portion of the United States are still struggling from the shutdown of the largest pipeline in the United States. Operators from Line 5 pipeline refused to shut down despite orders from Democrat Michigan Governor Whitmer to do so on Wednesday. Yeah, the Colonial Pipeline's already back online, but the White House is also making statements that they're not too sure when this whole gas shortage thing is going to end. So if you're on the East Coast, if you're feeling the squeeze right now, I hope all is well. I can't really offer solutions to something that looks like it's very fabricated at this point. Can't go any deeper than that. I've just seen some things, man. Cyber attack that triggered an unplanned temporary closure brings to the forefront what consumers could face. Mike Moeller, Enbridge Director of Operations for the Great Lakes region, said without Line 5, consumers will shoulder the burden of supply disruption and related price increases, particularly for propane and transportation fuel. Fox News affiliate Detroit is that Detroit News? Yeah. Reported on the standoff, a roughly 4-mile pipeline segment divides into two pipes that cross the Straits of Mackinac, which connects Lake Huron and Lake Michigan. The states in 1953 granted an easement to place the pipes on the strait bottoms. Whitmer revoked it, saying Enbridge hadn't met its safety provisions, which the company disputes. Something that's been in the ground, something that has been operational since 1953. She wanted to revoke because not enough people are getting the fucking jab. Yeah. Can you fucking... She's so evil. She's cartoonishly evil. She would be the perfect, I guess, maybe for Ta-Nehisi Coates, protagonist for the fucking Captain America run after Jordan Peterson's Red Skull fucking kicks it. This bitch could come in and perfectly take up the mantle. Whitmer ordered Line 5 closed in November because of the potential for a spill in a channel killing two of the Great Lakes. As her May 12th deadline arrived, Canadian pipeline company Enbridge said only the federal government had regulatory authority over its operations. Whitmer warned that the company's Tuesday that continuing to operate in line would be trespassing, and the state would claim Enbridge's profits from doing so. Whitmer's office said in a statement that the Colonial Pipeline interruption shows the danger of relying heavily on the single energy supply. Yeah, remember, I just want to jog everybody's memory. What was the status of natural resource exportation of the United States before Biden took office? I seem to remember that the United States was the world's leading energy exporter. It was, for the first time in its history, self-dependent, determining their own future. Now we have insurmountable gas lines. That's cool. That's why Governor Whitmer has put in place a plan to protect jobs. How? Why? Will you clarify that? Of course not. Diversity will be our strength, and expand our renewable energy resources and ensure Michigan's energy needs are met. Well, they aren't, and you're trying to shut down a pipeline that would ensure that they will never be met. God, you're an idiot. Also taking action to get oil out of the water as soon as possible. There's no oil in the water, you tard. Jesus Christ. There should be some oil in your coffee. Fox 5 reported that Line 5 transmits oil and natural gas liquids over 645 miles through northern Wisconsin and Michigan to Sarnia, Ontario. Hence why she can't just fucking shut it off, because it crosses international borders. The pipeline transports 23 million gallons daily, which is refined into, it should be, gasoline, jet fuel, and propane in several Midwestern states and Ontario and Quebec in Canada. God, I wish Quebec would actually fucking pull their weight when it comes to producing anything, but I'm sure most of it happens in Ontario anyways. Enbridge has gained support for numerous chambers of commerce and Republican lawmakers. Fuck the Chamber of Commerce. They were a part of that Times article. I don't forget. The state sued to enforce the order, which is pending as a federal judge decides whether to retain jurisdiction or send the case to Michigan State Court. It should be a federal... Oh my god, judges are so fucking retarded. And we'll get into them in the third video of the day. I would love to cover the Israeli-Palestine conflict right now, but it's developing so quickly. I would be totally out of step with what the fuck is going on as the moments go on. By the time that I edit it, it could be completely out of step. I don't even know where to land on that one. My gut tells me that Israel did nothing wrong, but I don't know enough about the situation to properly comment on it. So just... covered the opening salvo, but everything that's going on so far befuddles me, to say the least. Business groups filed a brief in support of Enbridge, which claimed a shutdown would have tremendous consequences for regional and national economies. The brief said that it could mean a loss of billions of dollars in economic activity. No, it's not like Michigan, one of the slowest economies to recover, with a little tyrant in the governor's mansion. I'm sure she probably couldn't be reached for comment because she was probably out on said Great Lakes with her husband's yacht. But again, this is another one of those situations where she can... I don't like her on the middle of the screen. She bugs me. No, it's one of those things where she can point and propagandize the low information people that are out there. Oh, look at a big oil company doing something bad. Ooh, don't you remember all of those ducks coated in oil? Are there any leaks so far? No. Is everything fine? Pretty much right now. They just figure that they're going to have to do some repairs and replacements on it. The fact of the matter is, it's been open since 1953. Technology's changed, and it's, probably going to need some repairs. But in 2018, it was struck by a fucking boat anchor. Nothing happened. It's been operating perfectly in choppy waters of the Great Lakes. There's really nothing to fucking concern yourself with. And another thing that I've seen, and that's why I brought it up, Whitmer doesn't think that the repairs on the pipeline can be done because there's not enough safety and there wouldn't be enough vaccinated people to be around you. You can't be properly socially distanced working on that kind of stuff. So that would pose a health threat. That was something that I seen, something I can't find, but knowing what lengths she will go to obfuscate from the real problem, to shirk any responsibility, I can't verify it. Don't take it as gospel, but it's something that I've seen out there. And her ability to dodge any sort of responsibility on everything is almost admirable. But at the same time, this is a governor of a rather large, rather significant state. And there is something else that she has done. Gretchen Whitmer changes story, drops original claim that she traveled at her own expense on private jet. I think probably made allusions to this not that long ago. Her and her husband flew down to Florida to be with her father who was sick, and that sucks. That is terrible. But at the same time, she's telling everybody in Michigan to stay at home, stay locked down, and if any of your family members are dying alone in the hospital, you can't go see them. Tough titties. But I had a tough situation. I need to go and travel to go see my father. And now she has to answer for her actions. I know it's new to her, and she's already been flipping on her story. Whitmer again attempted to explain her secret Florida trip in March aboard a private jet, and her story seemed to change Wednesday via the original MIRS news report in April, while communications director Tiffany Brown wouldn't say whether the Democratic governor traveled. A source tells MIRS that Whitmer's father, Richard Whitmer, has a home in Florida. Her dad was fully vaccinated. Oh, this is going to make it so much better. Her father was fully vaccinated, but was he wearing a mask? Because those new guidelines weren't in place in March, so I hope everybody was safe. And the governor is tested regularly. Oh, that's good, but she could still be carrying it because even though she's asymptomatic, she could still definitely tested regularly and has never tested positive for the coronavirus. Oh, that sucks. Even the fucking virus wants to stay away from that cunt. Brown told MIRS, noting the governor travels at her own expense and utilized no state resources. I gotta press X to doubt on that. Oh, a brief trip, she claimed during the Wednesday press conference. It is not a vacation and it was not a gift, a reference to a lobbying legal term. See, I'm on the inside, guys. You laugh at the meta? Entitled whore. The flight was not a gift. See, it was so good, she had to repeat herself because nobody, I'm sure, laughed. This flight was not paid for at the taxpayer's expense. It is not clear why she did not simply say she traveled at her own expense because she wants to keep her ass legally sound. Of course, she can be like Justin Trudeau and just say, oh, I don't know, and just fucking mark it down and see the receipts, and our incompetent conservative government will just go, oh, you shouldn't do that, Justin. And then he'll go, don't talk to me. And then they'll go, okay, worthless hack. Breitbart News asked Whitmer's office what her why her story changed and if she could provide any evidence to indicate who paid for the private plane. But then they were told that they were probably just bigots and sexists and they should just educate themselves on the situation. But neither communications director Tiffany Brown nor the press secretary Bobby Leddy would explain. Of course, Whitmer's secret Florida trip came days after she urged Michiganders not to travel to the very same state. And I think that was the same weekend that one of her boys got dragged into the ditch after he was DUI and resisting arrest. You guys remember that story? I thought sure was funny. He's been charged. I don't know if he'll do anything about it. I'm sure Whitmer's probably got a pardon waiting for him if he doesn't already have it. For that demand, two of her top aides, Chief Operations Officer Tricia Foster and the Department of Health and Human Services Director Elizabeth Hurdle went to Florida and Alabama respectively for spring break. Oof, does she have some cousins in Alabama? What the fuck? No shade thrown at Alabama. It seems like a pretty based place right now, but come on, that's the joke. Governor's claim was she was tending to her ill father was possibly undermined when she was spotted shopping and driving in Lansing weeks later. Yeah, she's a bitch who will never be held accountable. I swear to God, she is probably, more than likely, in the long-term plans for President Harris once she finally ascends her throne and the old man is finally just pushed off onto the front porch with a nice warm blanket on his lap and he can just stare off into the sun and ask salient questions like, are black kids just as smart and talented as, or rather poor kids just as smart and talented as white kids, or will World War I be over by Christmas? He can just continue to mutter into his oatmeal. She's got to have a high position, right? Because she has faced no investigations into her nursing homes. She hasn't had to answer for anything at a federal level. She's just been allowed to skate on everything, okay? Like even Cuomo had some kind of an investigation thrown at him. He managed to artfully dodge that. Must have just took them out for a drink and a nice meal. And Newsom will probably still be in the fucking governor's mansion if that a rogues gallery of challengers doesn't improve in the near future. So yeah, all of these murderers are just going to get away scot-free. But she is facing re-election in 2022, so that's a positive, I suppose. So we'll see who's going to step up to challenge her, and I hope it's somebody, literally anybody. Does anybody have the number for Kid Rock? He was pretty avaricious about running for something here recently, so I'd fucking take that goof at this point. Who gives a shit? It's got to be better than this surgically enhanced bridge troll. What's she looking at? Some minority who's not in chains? My God, she's an evil, evil woman. Let's talk about some more government overreach, shall we? We got some more weird developments in Chauvin and his friends. It's getting fucking odd and more corruption, more gooder, I suppose. Thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.